Welcome back to Flagship Studios. I'm here with Sonata Therapeutics CEO, Volker Herrmann. Volker, thank you for being here. This is Sonata's first JPM 2023, although you're a veteran. Tell us a bit about Sonata, a newly merged and branded company with a very promising program. Can you just start by giving us a broad overview of the company?
I sure can. Well, it's great being here. So yeah, I'm going to say something funny to you first, which is, when I was growing up, I loved reading about Greek mythology. And in there, I was mostly intrigued by this notion of villains, bad guys turning heroes. And we talk in Sonata about that a lot these days, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
So, I think it's well established that disease cells play a key role in launching disease, initiating disease, but also actually drive progression. That's probably best described for cancer, where we know that tumor cells honestly communicate a lot of bad stuff into the environment, shutting down the immune system, everything else. But it's also true for fibrosis and other diseases. And so no surprise, we've spent the last couple of decades looking for therapeutics to kill cancer cells effectively. Directly, chemotherapy, indirectly, by involving the immune system and so on. And we've made some great progress there. And recently we've learned that combining a few of those mechanisms can be very, very powerful as well. But there still are limitations, obviously, right? So imagine a world in which we actually could create a single therapeutic that actually would kind of bring together all the different mechanisms we need to drive cure in a specific tumor environment. And that's exactly what we do at Sonata. So the what if question we ask is, what if you could create a single therapeutic that reprograms the disease cell, the cancer cell, to actually drive cure in this multicellular microenvironment? So in other words, can we turn the villain to be the hero?
Can the villain cell become the hero cell? Can a cancer cell work to fight cancer?
That's right.
How does it work exactly?
So, the way we're thinking about it is really, in the end, if you want to do that, I think you're really going to have to understand and transform the way we develop drugs quite substantially, right? Your perspective on perception on cancer treatment changes completely. Now it's not about how do I kill that cancer cell as quickly as possible. Now it's really how do I understand what that tumor cell is currently negatively communicating into this microenvironment, and what will it take to reprogram it to actually start positively signaling and driving an anti-tumor environment, right? So now your cancer cell for some time becomes an ally, becomes a friend to do exactly that, right? And we set up a platform, turns out, in Sonata that can accomplish exactly that, right? So that really does that really well and creates this one single therapeutic that can drive this broad rewiring of the tumor microenvironment to drive cure.
But harnessing the expertise of that cell, just turning it for good.
That's right.
Very interesting. You talk a lot about values at Sonata. You've got 4 core values. What are they and how do they play out day to day at your company?
Culture is very dear to my heart, always has been as a leader. I think it is the biggest promise of success for any company. And we all do, and we all talk about values, but how do you bring them to life is a really interesting question, right? So our 4 core values at Sonata are, number 1, passion, accountability, innovation, and collaboration. Now, when we talk about passion, we talk a lot about purpose. We're in an industry where we're really privileged that purpose is really what we do. We are bringing medicines to save and to cure disease to patients. So patient impact has always been my personal go-to purpose. But I've also learned that, for many young scientists, that's a little far away. They may just be excited by the cool science we're doing, and that's just as good. But actually making the organization talk about that and see the richness of purpose coming together and creating that passion is really wonderful to see and creates an enormous buzz and an enormous drive in the company. Accountability is really important to us. I think because we share the view, as I certainly do, that many biotech companies do not fail because of bad science, they actually fail because of bad execution. And so we have a tagline for our accountability value that reads, this is our home, and I will do anything to make it better. So you can see there's a team accountability part in that, and then an individual in the sense of really making sure we drive that very, very hard, and everybody comes to work feeling that sense of responsibility and accountability.
And belonging, it sounds like.
And belonging,
yeah.
Exactly right. Third one, is collaboration. Every company has that in their values, right? So how do we make that different? I always say, if you came to visit us, I would say, when you leave, I don't want you to talk about I think, I would like to say I felt. And collaboration, I think, is a great way of saying this. So, we have a very diverse company, people from 17 different countries working at Sonata.
Wow, and how many people?
70.
70 people.
So it's amazing. And, so listening is very important. Listen carefully what others have to say, especially if they come from different cultural backgrounds. really enforce sharing and make that easy. And to make that easy, I think building trust is really important, right? So we really do put a lot of effort in how do we really create an environment that's safe, where people feel trust and feel safe to share whatever they have to say, basically. And in that sense, collaboration is absolutely in our veins, in our blood, and is a key driver of why Sonata people most often will talk about the company as a family, which is great.
While you're on the idea of being thought of as a family, you were recently awarded one of the best places to work in life sciences in Greater Boston. Tell me how that feels for the company.
You know, that felt obviously incredibly exciting for a young company like ours, honestly, to be awarded that award. A couple of things that drive that. We just talked about the passion.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the most frequent thing I hear from people joining the company, Christine, is the science and how excited they are about this different approach, and how much, if they come from academia or other companies, they see how this could make a real difference. So that drives such passion and such engagement already in such a happy place that is really important. Number two, I think, is really, about culture, as you said, and an important part of culture that I firmly believe is really important, Christine, is celebrating success and failure. You know, in an industry, in a company where I ask my teams to take thoughtful risk, it's easy to celebrate success, but I think it's even more important to celebrate those who fail for the right reasons. If I'm asking them to take thoughtful risk and it doesn't plan out, these deserve to be celebrated as much as the success stories, maybe more so, and it's a huge opportunity to learn, right? And sharing that, actually celebrating that. We are such a fast learning organization at the same time.
Stefan Bansal, when he was in his chair this morning, talked about bringing energy to failure. Actually being excited about understanding where something failed and why, to be fast learners for the next. Does that resonate with you as well?
That's exactly how we think about it, exactly the same way.
Tell us what lies ahead for Sonata. What do you see in the coming 3 to 5 years?
So, we think about our platform as really being able to transform how we treat cancer and many other diseases, right? Think about it just for a moment. The way we think about treating disease is really starting at the opposite end where others start. We start with understanding the platform. What changes do we need to see in the multicellular network environment? What signals need to be released to make that happen? And then it's easy for us to then create therapeutics that can do that. So with that in mind, we firmly think that we will transform the way we're going to treat cancer. In 5 years from now, I would love to see several late-stage clinical programs across a broad range of different cancer types in the clinic, very close to getting actually first commercial launches ready to do that. But the platform is also set up to be actually transferred easily as a plug and play to other disease areas. So we've already initiated work on fibrosis and regeneration. We think this will play in autoimmune disease. We think this will play in neurodegeneration. So you're going to see a very rich pipeline coming across many different disease areas. And then two more things I would say, we definitely, to bring this to full fruition as fast as possible, partnering will be a key strategy for us. We've already initiated partnering discussions, but we definitely would want to be a partner of choice because partners see our science as clearly differentiated and really, really transformative, and we are just a great partner to work with. The last thing I would say, be an employer of choice. I want Sonata to be the company everybody wants to work, they want to come, they want to stay because they know that what we do is incredibly impactful, and they know that we're going to invest anything we can give them to drive their career, to foster their career, and to have a really successful career with us.
Passion, purpose, learning fast, failing well, and turning villains into heroes in the fight for cancer. Thank you so much, Volker Herrmann, for joining us in the Flagship studio.
Thanks, Christine. Pleasure.
Great to have you.
Thank you.